What's up? Welcome to the Dolphins Dive Bar. I'm your host, Tony Two Times, aka Chicky. Hey, we're celebrating a Dolphins win. Miami beats San Francisco. Final score of 29-17, and Mike McDaniel gets over the hump and finally beats like one of his former bosses or guys that he's worked with in Shanahan. You know, like a guy whose offense he basically runs in Miami, and a guy who showed him the ropes on really how to become a coach in football. So, hey, cheers to you, Mike, for that one. Today's drink we're going to do, it's a celebration, which is some Mexican Coke, Dominican rum, a glass for one. Let's go. So once again, Miami beats San Francisco 29-17 in a game that I think the Dolphins defense and the offense, they dictated the terms of that game. I mean, they beat up on San Francisco. Like the offensive game plan, you could see early on was just get the running game involved, like just continue to try to run it down their throats, and like they did. You had Isaiah Wynn getting back, that really helps. Yeah, it really helps not having what is his name, Carmen or whatever, the guy that started like the other week that just got fucking absolutely blasted behind that line. No, but I mean, they did everything. They were so Achan heavy today. I mean, Achan was definitely offensive player of the game, right? The dude, he carries the ball for 17 carries, a buck 20 with the yards and a touchdown with a long of 50, that one that iced it at the end of the game. Plus, he was also the main pass catcher with 6 catches for 70 yards. I mean, it was just a steady dose of him. And it was, runs up the middle, runs to the outside. A lot of those screens, a lot of those little working little screens in the flat, just hit it and get him in space, let him try to run it. I mean, that's pretty much the game plan. They did try to throw the ball downfield too at times. Unfortunately, like we're at another episode of the day of like, what the hell happened to Tyreek Hill? Because what the hell happened to Tyreek Hill? I mean, Tua, like for all the crap that I give him about, his game planning, like the way he plays football, I mean, he was so accurate today. And he was just able to articulate that ball anywhere he wanted to go. Like his passes were just on the money, in the spot. And Tyreek dropped like 3 of them today. Like he dropped a crucial third down, 3rd and 9 or whatever, or maybe Miami's first possession of the game. Dude dropped a touchdown. I get it. It got tipped or whatnot. Still didn't make the catch. And like that one in the end zone, I mean, it was like went through the defender's hands, hits Tyreek in the chest. Like right there. I mean, what more do you want? You really just have to like clasp at that point. And so he had a rough game. Tyreek did. I mean, the dude had 3 catches for 29 yards, got a touchdown. But I mean, his longest catch of the day was 24 yards. So he got basically without that catch, he's like two catches for 4 yards. Freaking. Or sorry, 2 catches for 5 yards. He was averaging 2.5 yards a catch before his big one. So I don't know, man. They got to get some more. It's not that they got to get more reps together. I don't understand the dynamic between those two right now. Like they're just not on the same page. Tyreek needs I don't know. I mean, I get the wrist is hurting. He'll probably get surgery for it in the offseason, but I mean, it's definitely been a down year for him, especially with dependability and catching the football, man. This is not working for him today. O-line was just working overtime. I mean, like I said, they got Wynn back. Didn't have Carmen out there. Teron Armstead, Paul, switching on and off. Just a good overall game from them, able to create holes, able to alleviate the pressures. I mean, Tua doesn't get sacked. So, Tua finishes 22 for 34, 215 yards, a touchdown, no picks, no fumbles. And good to see him not turn it over after he did 4 times last week. He played, like, QB1 played a brilliant game. Like, the dude, like I said, he, like, on one of Tyreek's drops, I mean, Tua knew that he was going to get hit. I mean, the pressure was coming, and he just stood in that pocket and stepped up, delivered a beautiful pass. I think it was, like, right there. It was barely tipped by a finger, and Tyreek just wasn't able to make the play on the ball. So that that hurt them. But I think Tua, like his performance today, he did everything that you could want him to do. He found guys in space. He played his game. He threw to his spots. he necessarily doesn't find people, like, he doesn't necessarily throw them open, but he throws it to where he expects them to be. Raheem Mostert got some carries today. He had 8 for 31, and he had a long of 21. I mean, he was running hard whenever they get him the ball. He's so patient. He finds a hole, then he just explodes through, and he faces his tacklers head on. I didn't see Jalen Wright today, like on the stat sheet. I don't know why he couldn't get no love. The other guy was back there from Miami. Damn, what the hell is his name? Jeff Wilson. So I don't know why or what, why they didn't get, I don't understand why Jalen Wright didn't get in the game, but he didn't. Yeah, Jonnu Smith, to his favorite target, his security blanket, the big man, gets 6 catches for 62 yards today. I mean, Jonnu, he's like that third receiver for Miami, even though he's a tight end. He's like the one piece of Miami's puzzle that's really missing on offense, because it's like, Jalen Waddle didn't play today, right? So he was on the outside. Tyreek Hill was in. But, like, Hill is, like, generously 5'9", and Jalen Waddle's a very generous 5'11". Like, he's probably like 5'10", 5'9" himself. And, they don't have big receivers. Like, they don't have those big guys that can freaking catch the pass. Like, you throw the fade to. Like, one of the plays, they had Tyreek on single coverage in the red zone, so they try to throw the fade to him, like, in the end zone. It's like, bro, that is such a low percentage play. Like, Tyreek never comes down with that. So the fact that they continue to put that in their arsenal and continue to try it week after week, it's like, dude, that's what Jonnu's for. That's what Anunziaka, or whatever the hell his name is supposed to be for. Like, Miami needs a big-bodied receiver with length that can just go up and snatch the ball from like a 5'11" defensive back, and they really need to add that wrinkle into their game. I mean, it's not going to happen this year. They don't have the assets, right? But next year, like, that's something that's on the, since it's almost Christmas, like, that's definitely something that's on the Christmas wish list for Miami to do and have, is just a big receiver that's not named Jonnu Smith that can also help go up there and catch those passes so they can stop trying to throw that damn fade to Tyreek Hill. Special teams was just about on point today for the first time all season. Like, they only had one gaffe, and that was when Jason Sanders winds up kicking the ball out of bounds on a kickoff, and then San Fran gets it at the at the 40. But Sanders, like, 5 for 5 on field goals, dude. The undisputed MVP of scoring points today, right? I mean, 15 points by his lonely, and like, what, 2 or 3 kicks he had were like 55-yard plus. I mean, the dude just does not miss from 50, right? It's like, you worry about him when Miami scores a touchdown. It's like, oh man, is he gonna miss this extra point because he's missed them like 2 weeks in a row, right? And it's like, well, maybe like part of the strategy is if you get enough penalties, like enough false starts, you could just back all the way up to where every extra point for Sanders is like 50 yards plus, and he'll nail him every time, dude. And he was so clutch, so money. I mean, yeah, he literally accounted for over half of Miami's points. 15 points for himself, plus 2 touchdowns, gives you 29, right? The defense, I mean, they do good just about every week, and today was no different. This game was no different for them. I mean, they just, that front four, chop in there, Sealer, both get a sack each. Jordan Brooks on the second level, or not second level, that's the DBs, but Jordan Brooks in the linebacker position, he comes in, gets a sack. Calais Campbell, I mean, he leads, he applies the pressure, gets a hit on the quarterback, who has to throw it like, probably a little earlier than he intended to, Brock Purdy. To basically like right in the middle of the field where Kader Kohou was able to pick it off and basically seal the deal for Miami. That was like Miami's first interception, like legit first interception in like games. Like, I don't even remember the last time Miami had an interception, honestly. But that defense was, I mean, like, they were getting after it, man. Chop Robinson he continues to get better every week as he learns his technique. Calais is in his ear, teaching him how to be a pro. I mean, the kid's a stud. Like, they really hit in the draft when they got him. He's developing nicely, which is, like, it's so nice to say, because it seems like Miami just doesn't do, like, the best job of developing rookies, per se, because it's like, half the time the rookies don't play. Takes them 2, 3 years to get on the field. Like, and so it's nice to see that they got like an impact player who can just jump in there like time now and just get on the ball, man. He's a ball hawk. Like he has a nose for it. He has a nose for the quarterback. He's disruptive. He has nice penetration, good footwork, good handwork. I mean, his little spins, his little undercuts. However he does, like he's getting by the edge, and he's making plays. And with him and Sealer, next year you draft another fat boy to put in the middle of that line, and like that Dolphins, at least that front four, they got a chance to be really good next year, right? One problem with Miami is the tackling. It's been a problem with them all season. Like, Debo Samuel, dude, that dude went off today. I'm not looking at his stat line, but I just remember, he's always open. And when he catches it, he's not running out of bounds or sliding. Like, he's hitting you. He scored a touchdown by, like, hitting and dragging, like, 3 Dolphin defenders into the end zone. Like, not even dragging them. Like, they tried to hit him. He puts his shoulder in the one. Another guy tries to go low. He just steps right through him. And another guy just bounces off his hip. Like, 3 defenders tried to tackle this dude. Couldn't get him down, man. Javon whiffed on a tackle in the backfield. I think against him one time. I mean, he was just a freaking beast, yo. Miami's tackle woes continue. Plus, you're playing the guy. I mean, they got nothing to play for, the Niners, right? Like, they were already eliminated early in the day from playoff contention. So they're playing for pride, and they're still hitting a motherfucker in the mouth, right? Like, they don't just give up. I mean, like, I get it. I know that they're a quote-unquote bad team. This is not the team that was in the Super Bowl last year, They're devastated with injury. They really are one of the most injured teams in the league. When Brock Purdy doesn't have all of his great offensive weapons to really throw to, I mean, he looks kind of pedestrian back there as quarterback. He didn't look too bad yesterday. He was making some throws, using his legs a bit, but it just, they're so decimated, and they're so they are the Dolphins, right? They're the Dolphins of the NFC. I mean, they both came into the game with a 6-8 record. And they both came into the game with like absurd amounts of penalties. I mean, these guys, like one drive, they had 2 pre-snap penalties, and it was on the same guy. It was like, what, that dude Pearson, just not lining up properly. He's supposed to be on the line, but he's off, or he's supposed to be off the line, but he's on. Like, the rookie, he was lost out there. He was getting his ass reamed on the sideline. It's like, they just, like, that attention to detail, like, that kind of stuff happens to Miami all the time, right? So it's frustrating for them, but it's funny for, like, Dolphin fans to see, like, okay, we're not the only ones out there that are making these stupid-ass mistakes, because, I mean, they were just making penalties all the time, and they were dirty as shit. Like, one time, what was it, one play, I think Achane was already down, and the defender, or whoever had the ball, was already down. The defender just, like, 2 seconds late, just comes in, just, like, hits him with the helmet right in the back of the head and just rolls the body up on him, like, completely uncalled for. I mean, you talk about that as an undisciplined football team, like, and penalties really racked them today and killed some drives. Because those pre-snaps, I mean, like, one of them negated a first down, and the other one was another bigger play that was called back, So instead of going down there and possibly getting a touchdown, they had to settle for a field goal try, which they missed. So those penalties cost them yards and also cost them points, We're so used to having that to us. So to see it happen to somebody else, hey, sorry. Jones, man. Benito Jones. I felt so bad for him. Dude thought he had an interception. Thought he had his first career interception. He got the fingertips on it, but the ball hit the ground. And he suffered for nothing, man, because he thought he had the pick. He got up, he's running, he gets his helmet popped off. And then when he's getting tackled, I mean, he took a freaking helmet into the back of the head. Like, dude came in there, like, big boy came in there and hit him hard. Helmet to the back of the head, and it's like, you went through all that, you suffered all that just for them to look at the tape and be like, nah, sorry, ball bounced off the ground. So that was rough. Hope he's all right. But, I mean, he played the rest of the game and didn't go in, like, protocol or nothing. Going back to the offense, that last drive for Miami, like, that was the drive that we've been waiting to see all season, right? It was just like, all right, you got the game. You could have the game. All you got to do is just get the first down, kill the clock, put together a decent drive, right? And they were doing it. And that's the drive that Achane hit the 50-yard touchdown run on. But it's like, finally, to see them ice a game with the drive, that, like, something that they just seem to, like, not be able to do, like, all throughout the season. It was a nice change of pace for them, right? And then after that, they get the ball back. It's pretty much over. There's nothing San Fran can do. Chop gets a sack. I mean, just like they really played and dominated and played well in all three phases of the game today with the offense, defense, special teams. It was good to see them put together a complete game like that. I mean, they were rough. They would not get away from the run. They kept most of the passes short, but they still went downfield. They took the opportunities as they were given a couple of times. Tyreek couldn't get it going today. River Craycraft really couldn't get it going. It was really just like an Achane and Jonnu show. I mean, Achane just on the ground and in the air. I mean, so if you add it up, 120 plus 70, and so 190 of their yards was all Devon Achane in the air and on the ground, scoring for them. So he was really the MVP of the offense today, and he just played it well. So we finished the drink. So let's finish the video. Next week, the game got flexed. So it's supposed to be a Sunday night game versus Cleveland at the Lamb, but instead it got kicked back. So the next game will be at 4:15 or 4:25. It's the 4 o'clock window game next Sunday at Cleveland. Should be cold in Ohio. So, now Miami got over one of the humps. They got to change one of the narratives that McDaniels couldn't beat one of his mentors or anything like that. He did. So now let's see if Miami can go out there and win a game in the cold. I don't think Jameis Winston's going to be playing. I think he might have gotten benched. So we'll have to see what quarterback Cleveland has to throw out at us. But, Miami's going to have to build off of this. It's going to have to be more of the same. You're going to have to trudge along through the mud. You're going to have to try to run the ball hard and take the passes that they give you when you can, because it's going to be a tough game in the cold. Miami doesn't play well there. We all know this. But you're going to have two opportunities to do it, because you got Cleveland and you finish the season against the Jets. I'm not even going to go into the playoffs. They have like an 8% chance. The hope it's still not fully dead yet, but nothing that we needed, like nothing that was going to help us this week really happened. So they just got to hope that a couple of teams just choke in the next 2 weeks and Miami can win and then maybe sneak in there. But we're not worried about that. We're just taking this one game at a time. So once again, thanks for coming to the Dolphins Dive Bar. Miami wins 29-17, beats San Fran at home. Record jumps to 7-8. Still, there's a pulse. And next week, we got Cleveland, or we're at Cleveland, so we'll talk then.